Kanpai. Welcome one and all to episode 204 of Kanpai Cast. I'm here today with Xeno and Nasuth, and today we'll be discussing realism in anime. How are you feeling, guys?
Yes,
pretty good.
Awesome. So before we get into the topic, the usual housekeeping. I know it's getting repetitive at this point. Only done it 204 times. So just check the description, like, comment, subscribe, the usual things. There's our audio version down below for your RSS feeds and for Spotify. There's links to Discord, streaming, and even, I believe, to our archives on the web for our memes that we get at the end of the show. And somebody on a very
wow, what is going on there today?
I don't know. There's people doing burnouts in the street and everything. But still, we persist, we proceed, and the show must go on. So, if you'd all be so kind as to drop your thoughts on the episode below once we actually get into the topic. Nasuth reads everyone. We appreciate every interaction we can get with the channel. So, anything else, do you think?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah. So, Nasuth had a really good pun here, but then we shifted topics. Thanks, Xeno.
I'm sorry, I wanted a good topic.
Alrighty. So, there's a definite suspension of disbelief when it comes to anime. It's an animated format that's always going to be that key difference between it and real life. But there is a complete contrast between how realistic they can actually be. True to life in terms of martial arts, in terms of racing, in terms of mysteries. You know, how much can you actually believe something is happening on the screen? How believable is the situation they're in? Is it even the character's own reaction to it realistic? Realism is a fantastic method of portraying any given fantasy show, because you have to make the audience believe that the characters are in some way in this situation before they can even begin to believe that something like magic or superpowered martial arts exists. So it's a broad topic and there's many uses. What were you going to say, Xeno? You
I think
looked like I was about to interrupt you.
Yeah, one of the biggest parts of realism within anime is how much it shatters your disbelief in what you're watching. You know, why necessarily, a narrative will pull you out of it. No, I'd never do that. This is the stupidest thing in the universe. Yada, yada, yada. And
oh god, like my reactions to everything in Clavitas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good way of looking at it. But the other side of it is how the perception of the individual is changed dramatically by their own how much they place themselves in the scenario. So I argue like one of the biggest genres for this is absolutely stupid brain rot is isekai stuff.
Absolutely.
So many characters are the most brain rot characters in the universe because, let's face it, they are there solely for you to self-insert, right?
Yes, it's escapism. That's what that's for. It doesn't have to be real in that sense.
I'm going to need realism. I'm going to need Nasuth's support on this, but I argue some of the best horror shows in existence, or movies, like including Western stuff, are things that are so based in reality that you could believe it to be a real thing. There was a movie. I want to say it was called like Severance or something like this, where basically this American company they were doing like a team bonding exercise, and they ended up going to this campsite in Eastern Europe.
Oh, yeah.
You know the one I mean?
I do know the one you mean.
Can you look up the movie name just so we can actually tell our audience? But basically, the idea is they go to this, they get mistaken, and they end up going to this camp, and they end up getting confused, and it's like an absolute bloody nightmare. It's got the Hoff. Fuck, what's his name?
The film tells the story of a group of British and Canadian co-workers who go to a remote mountain forest in Hungary, where they become the victims of murderous attacks by a group of poachers. Apparently, it's a comedy as well. It's a comedy horror film. You may be thinking of a different one then.
It's got David Hasselhoff in it. If this one does not have David Hasselhoff in it, it is not this one.
I may have to go to
just do a search. Just do a. I don't think.
No,
this
one does not.
I don't think
okay.
This is it.
All right.
Right. But yeah, basically, it's a movie where they end up going to this campsite. I think it's in Eastern Europe, and it turns out that this is like a camp where terrorists are training, and effectively they have stumbled into this training site, and they're being hunted down by actual humans, and it just makes it so much more believable and so much of a more enjoyable watch. You watch things like he had a real bit part in this, by the way. You end up watching something like Friday the 13th or Jason X, or because the villain is just such a unbelievable entity, you're just like, oh, what the hell is this even? I think it's around 2010. It's a movie. He's been in so many things.
He has.
Yes, he has. So I will actually back Xeno up on this point. The most horrifying or at least spine-chilling, I would say, horror movies are ones that involve situations that you can place yourself into.
Yeah.
Where everybody in the world, everybody that lives in their own house, as it were, knows that there is one part of the house where somebody could be looking in your window.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so shots where a person, looks out a window, turns away, and the camera just pans out and somebody steps out and is looking into the window that the character didn't notice. Maybe they've walked past it and there's just somebody there that they weren't supposed to be. Those kind of things, that stalkerish vibe, that being watched by some entity, some nameless entity, is
what's the one I'm thinking of?
Very telling. It's a very relatable feeling. So when a house might come to be haunted and start moving things, it may be something simple like a shaking wall suddenly drops a knife off of the knife rack and it lands in somebody's hand. That's something I have seen in a movie, and that one. It's the kind of thing that people with those like wall-mounted knife racks, they can imagine that happening, and it helps to ground the movie with a bit of realism, which is what you're going for there, to help the audience actually feel scared in that horror.
Sorry. I thought
same with a lot of the. Sorry, I was killing time until you actually could find something.
I have no idea what David Hasselhoff was in, but I saw a really good one that hits that realism angle called Speak No Evil. It's a Danish production, and it really delves into like the horror of being too nice and too accommodating, which is a problem that a lot of British people think they have in their society today, or other countries, like a lot of Scandinavian countries feel that way too. And the idea is that this couple meets another couple on vacation and later are invited to come visit them at their remote farmhouse, right? And they're like, oh yeah, we could, our life is terrible here in I think the remake is in England right now, so we'll just go visit them. And slowly, bit by bit, this couple gets them to engage in more and more extreme like secessions, appeasements, what you might say, and eventually it's too late to escape when things finally go completely sideways, and it's filled with so many ordinary moments that you might just write off as, oh, they're just being a bit weird, and then the build-up is incredible.
But at the same time, like, how much do people just readily go along with, like, oh, I believe this because there isn't something crazy and wacky about this. This is really grounded, But at the same time, there are some people that, oh, this is boring because it's too grounded in reality, and thus I can't believe. It's a really interesting thing when it comes to realism in shows. Like, some people just don't accept how believable something is, which then makes it weird. What are the... Go on.
Sorry, I think the movie you were thinking of was Witchery.
No, it is actually Severance. It was Severance. 2006. It's 2006.
So it's the comedy one. Okay.
It says it's comedy, but I don't remember it being funny in the slightest.
Very strange.
Maybe it's been mismarketed as a comedy, but it's not actually a comedy at all.
Maybe you just don't have a sense of humor.
That's possible.
I have a better sense of humor than you. But I think one of the better animes out there for realism and things, and I think Nasuth would agree with this, is My Home Hero.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
My Home Hero is an absolutely amazing show for literally... You gonna interject, Nasuth?
To me, it's okay. You might not like this, but I feel like the escalation in My Home Hero feels a lot like the escalation in Breaking Bad, where it starts off very normal, and then step by step they keep getting caught in more and more intense situations that force them to respond in kind.
I agree with this sentiment very much so, but the problem with the
obviously
reason
Breaking
why
Bad goes a bit off the rails,
The reason why My Home Hero, in my personal opinion, is leagues better than Breaking Bad is the fact that some characters in Breaking Bad just jump logic. I will
Skylar,
I will forever hate Skylar's character because how do you just jump to being a drug cook, not a drug dealer? I get it. Maybe you do assume
she does know he's a chemist, so
hold on. Yeah, she knows that he's a chemist, but is that a term that anyone just randomly haphazardly throws around? She might mean someone that actually makes the drugs, but still call him a dealer. The terminology she used was way too specific to the situation, and it's way too scripted. Additionally, things you need to launder the money. Okay, buys a business. How much money do you need to launder? There is no way on earth you wouldn't do that the other way around. You would never go, how much money do you need to launder? Okay, let's buy a business that's not adequate for the... You would always buy... you'd always check first. It's stupid. But that's the sort of thing that my home hero was really careful about doing, was making sure that not only were there mistakes, there were believable mistakes, and there was believable preparation for the whole situation. So, yeah, you know, all it took was careful forethought. You know.
Yes, and every time they didn't, there was a mistake that got picked up on by somebody else actually just poking logical holes in it.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to do a slightly one that does realism both well and badly at the same time.
Okay.
So my pick for this one is Lazarus.
Oh god.
Ah, yes. Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Oh god,
So
you say that. Yeah. Okay.
So Lazarus, as a show, did a very. Did I actually even pick up my? Doesn't look like it did. That's annoying. So, it's not changing things from my side again.
Are you
That's
on
annoying.
Dropbox?
Is this? I think that's
Yes, I am.
Lazarus.
Okay. Well,
There we
I've
go.
done it now.
Oh well, we both done it.
Yeah. So, Lazarus, the plot is not realistic, and the resolution is not realistic. It's terribly done in that respect. But the things it does realistically, it does them really, really well. I mean, the opening parkour scene, it's realistic parkour, right? Right up until the point where he lands himself on a drone and has to kite it down to the ground. All of that is absolutely fine. All of it is actually realistic movement. It's realistic speeds that a human person could attain to pull off these stunts. And the only disconnect I had during that whole sequence was that there was no A to B flow where I could actually track. Sorry, Nasuth. What's that?
No, sorry, I was mumbling to myself. I didn't even realize I was doing it. So sorry.
It's no worries. So there was you couldn't see how he got from each set piece to set piece to give you a clear direction of how much ground he had covered. But the actual movements, the stunts he pulled off were all completely plausible. And in the same way, the combat, when they're actually doing martial arts and fighting, it was the kind of choreography that I would put into quite a lot of movies, where you almost don't quite see the impact with a lot of the kicks and punches. They're not trying to do that. They're trying to do a full hit, but they want to make it look good. Xeno, what's up?
So I actually argue against this because there is what is right versus what looks right. A very famous instance is the superhero landing, the famous superhero landing that's in basically every Marvel minute. Everyone's going to know what the superhero landing is, where you land.
It fucking hurts.
Yes, if you were to do that in real life, you would seriously hurt yourself, right? To the insane level. And that's why in the first Deadpool movie, they took the piss out of it. It was like, oh, there is... Yeah. But if someone was to actually land the way they do in real life, it would really hurt. But dramatically, it makes sense. You want the crumple. You want it to look good. You want it to feel the impact. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
You know,
but Lazarus doesn't do a superhero landing. Lazarus does rollouts and techs.
But I would argue, as far as we know, because let's face it, none of us are parkour experts unless one of you two are hiding something from me. You know, I can barely get off the couch.
I have watched a fair number of parkour videos.
From
20 years ago.
Yes.
20 years ago, I did parkour. Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. I will rescind my statement.
So.
But you see my, like, for example, we see the tech
the drone
stuff.
thing. The drone thing that Thaylien was talking about, riding the drone down, makes no sense, but it looks fucking amazing.
And that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. It looks like it's like believable because of how they actually emphasize the animation and everything. But in reality, you do that now, you're gonna land flat on your fucking face, right?
Yeah.
But the other side is like, the tech. Doing stuff with technology is obviously my biggest pull out of anything. So the more grounded in reality you are trying to make the technology, the more inclined I am going to be to call out bullshit.
Yes. Right? So that's where I was going to bring you in on this, was the computer side of things. So where they then obviously hadn't looked into actual security systems properly. And so they tried to make something sound cool in terms of hacking and defense against hacking, and it really ended up stupid.
Oh, can I highlight the really easy one, which was the SoundCloud thing? Like, oh yeah, they've uploaded this
strange
MP3.
Music.
Yeah, they've uploaded this strange music, and it turns out it's like a PDF, right? Unless that strange music was several 10, like, so we're talking like 50 plus megabytes, right? There is no chance in hell for anyone to realize that that was actually a bloody PDF in disguise, right? Again, like, how on earth do you even encode a PDF to pretend to be an MP3? The encoding is completely different. How on earth?
We used to do it all the time back in the Napster days. You just rename a movie as a .mp3, and then you could throw it on Napster.
Oh my god! But like at the same time, like just the MIME type of the file is in the header of the file. So if you were to go into the MIME type, change the MIME type from PDF to MP3, you would be able to convert it back. And it's just
it wouldn't play as an MP3 either.
If it was PDF, it would just be like, this isn't a valid file type. It's like,
exactly that. So it is very, very strange how they can get some things so very right and some things so very wrong. And it really does break some of the immersion of your realism. What do you think so, Nasuth?
So I feel like Xeno kind of raised a point that I don't think we want to go too deep into, but I would like to touch on.
Go on.
What is... Okay. If a show does a really good job of explaining its world, even if its world is fantastical, and it has a high degree of internal consistency, would you still count that as realistic, having a sense of realism to
as
it?
Realism.
Do you have a working example?
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No, I was going to say Beastars.
Does Nasuth have?
I was going to say Beastars, because in Beastars, they've, obviously it's a world full of animals for starters. That's very different because you've got the whole predator-prey dynamic.
Humanoid.
But you've also got things like when after Legoshi has been without meat for a while in the first season, and then through certain events that I don't want to spoil season 1 for, he consumes meat again, and it powers him up to this insane degree. It sort of makes sense in the world because they do kind of explain it in other instances, but at the same time, it feels really weird for one consumption of meat to bring him, after weeks or months without, to just get him back up to full power and beyond.
Okay, so there's two arguments towards this. The very short argument is the chemical effect. The chemical effect that you have just from eating a bit of chocolate is actually more surprising than people find. Like, for a long period of time, I wasn't eating chocolate for a very, very long period of time. And then all of a sudden I had some, and then all colors got more vivid, if that made more sense. And it was just like, this is so chemicals in your body do weird shit. But the other side of this argument is that's the extent of my biological knowledge, right? I'm shit at biology, right? But the other side of this is they're animal people, right? This show to me was never grounded in reality, right? So
really
having a character,
but it's internally consistent, right?
No, I'm with him. I'm with him.
That's fine, because like it is making up its own rules as it goes. When it's bullshitting its own rules, that's when I have a huge issue with a lot of this stuff. So when you have I think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is kind of one that's a good example for not grounded in reality, defines its rules, maintains its rules up until the finale where it bullshits them, but it's okay because it's going to reset anyway. Thaylien.
So this is where I'd call the difference between realism and good world building.
Yeah.
Okay. Where good world building can give suspension of disbelief. So you're already suspending your disbelief to see it's animal people, but then it gives you enough world building to follow through on that, where some parts of it seem realistic if you were in that world, like the way they treat predators versus prey animals, the way that there are dedicated people out there, like the chicken people, that lay eggs and are proud to lay eggs so that other people, that predators can consume them instead of meat. You know, they can have the protein from the eggs. It's actually a whole 5-minute scene dedicated to one of those people. And so it builds up the world and allows you to suspend the disbelief on other things that happen. And
so it's
fill in plot holes on your own, almost not plot holes, but absent parts of the story. You can almost imagine the bits they haven't told you directly so that you can fill in the world. That's good world building.
So it's kind of like
realism.
If they can get you to swallow this one thing, then everything else comes off as realistic reactions or parts of the world, etc., etc. As long as they don't break that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't break your immersion in the world. It's good world building, but it's not realism. Realistic to their world, not realism.
Right. Okay. That is the one I wanted to clear up then.
I think another show that does a really good job of really treading a fine line between the fantasy, whimsy sort of thing and still being grounded in reality is The Ancient Magus Bride, right?
Oh, not the one I thought. Okay.
So everything with The Ancient Magus Bride is like, dragons exist, fairies exist, all this, a lot of baseline English folklore exists. However, it's behind the scenes. It's, behind nature. It's, they are trying their damnedest to hide this stuff. Thaylien, do you need us to stop for a second?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So it's we see all this, even Elias puts on a fake face for whenever he's out amongst humans, right? The dragons aren't allowed to be seen in public, and when one of them is, they basically have to cast a spell to separate a barrier to separate the dragon from the rest of humanity and things. So that is something that crosses the fantasy that none of us can refute, allows all of us to 100% fall into the world and believe it all, and still have its grounding in reality, except for the Scotch eggs thing, which I love to joke and meme about, because there's no way in hell anyone is eating 12 Scotch eggs, no matter what they try.
Harry Potter was actual thought and effort put in, or the world of Harry Potter, anyway.
Yeah, because it's still grounded in our world, right?
Yeah.
Because they still take the train, they still take buses, they still take public transportation, right? It's not like, oh yeah, we've just got to excuse all of this stuff and it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. The one I actually thought you were going to say was Copcraft.
Do you want to talk about Copcraft?
Ooh, we can talk about Copcraft.
Sure, we can quickly talk about Copcraft before Thaylien gets another turn. So, like, the way you described it, you were like, oh, it rides that line between realism and fantasy. I think Copcraft, again, does the same thing. Like, what, aside from that very beginning, where it's, what if a portal to another world opened and fantasy creatures started appearing? Everything after that point feels like it fits into a very grounded, very realistic, very our world sort of thing, because people would try to take fairies and turn them into drugs. People would, there would be a need for working with somebody like the main character girl whose name I can't remember, who's an elf or whatever. Isn't she an elf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's an elf.
Yeah. There would be a necessity to work with somebody like that, and yeah, her.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is a show that really does that well.
Mm-hmm. I really like some of the things that they did with things I like orcs, for example, and elves being existent, and so the difference between them in both their original world that they came from, and what they're doing in this world is very different. Heck, they even spawned a whole very, very bad movie called Bright from this one.
Oh, Bright's not that bad. Come on.
Bright's not bad.
I after watching Copcraft, I watched Bright, and I was like,
Copcraft is better by far. Don't get me wrong, but Bright isn't that bad as a movie.
Yeah.
Straight to Netflix movie.
Yes, straight to Netflix movie. So they do try and address quite a lot of the jank that would go on with these two worlds colliding. The way that the elves are keeping their secret, so that there's no real way to tell where the portal is. You approach it, it gets misty, and then the elves appear in their own ships, and you have to feel grateful for that, because they've deigned to traffic with humans in that respect. But then all the other magical races do exist, and so they're coming through as well on their own terms, and just causing more and more problems for humans, but also solving them.
But all you have to do is buy that initial what if, and then it's good.
I want to pivot for a hot second.
Poor Thaylien.
Okay.
All right.
No, I'm not taking turns on this one. All
right.
So the great thing with I don't know what you guys are like when it comes to your YouTube viewing habits. One of my favorite YouTube channels is Veritasium, right? I love Veritasium, mostly because of how he relays knowledge and information on a lot of scientific stuff. Things like, the universal weight for a kilo, right? Which is really supposed to be
good science communicator. Whereas people like Brian Cox or even Neil deGrasse Tyson, I would say, are not quite as good for various reasons.
They're good theorists. Good theorists, not good communicators.
Yes.
Well, I mean, still, Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't as bad, but I feel that Veritasium gets into the super nitty gritty of some of the most weird stuff. One of my favorite ones was concrete. The guy basically tries to submerge himself in concrete, but he has to stop fairly soon on because he's overheating. Right? You don't die from being unable to breathe when you're submerged, say torso high in concrete. You don't die from the fumes or anything. You die because you cook yourself in the actual concrete.
Wow.
That's the reading. But again, he goes into such crazy detail. Now, on the screen, for anyone that's watching, you'll notice I put on Dr. Stone. Right? Dr. Stone had perfect opportunity to talk about some of the baseline chemistry involved with half the shit he does, right? But he doesn't, right? It gets to a certain point in the actual show, like I think they're farming sulfur or something, and they have to wear these respirators and stuff like this, and it's just not explained like any of the science post that point. And it's just like, this was a really good opportunity to talk about any of it. But I don't know if it was a case of, yeah, but your target demographic's not going to understand this, or this is supposed to be for kids. It's supposed to be action oriented, and as it lost all appeal to me. I never watched past season 1.
So that to me speaks of the same reason that there's a fairly popular literary RPG that I listened to the audiobook version of, because the guy reading it is very, very good Australian actor. It's called He Who Fights with Monsters.
Right.
From the phrase "He who fights with monsters becomes a monster himself." The story, of course, because it's a literary RPG, when he was writing it, he liked to throw in call-outs to what the abilities were and what their specific effects were, and whether they interacted with other things he was doing. And then, like at the end of a chapter, throw in a stat block for his character, where what they were at now, where their level was, and what not level, but what their progress was towards certain abilities and systems, right? But after a while, he had to switch this out because it was quickly becoming a massive interference, where he was trying to write the story and adding all these stats and all these explanations had to be basically relegated to a glossary of terms at the end, so that, especially for the audiobook version, they moved that over so that the guy didn't have to keep repeating himself every 5 minutes. And Dr. Stone kind of strikes me the same, where he wants to do cool things with science, but the explanation time would take up so much time because you're building on things that he's done before and onto new things, and that escalating system would cause half the episode to be the explanation. That would really drag the time out.
Do we actually have it? There's an anime. I don't know if we've got it in the system. Cells at Work.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So I don't think we have. But Cells at Work is a brilliant series for effectively baseline biology, right? Being able to understand a lot of how this stuff works in an easy to digest format, right? The whole episode, they're about something important and how different things impact you, like different diseases, and how to maintain your own health. Maybe I should watch Cells at Work more. Anyway, but the whole point is, though, that the whole episode is a teachable moment, and it's great in how it delivers it. But it feels like with Dr. Stone, they weren't wanting teachable moments. They wanted flashy shonen fighting with science, and it just like, I think you missed the nail here. You flubbed this one.
What, me specifically?
No. The author.
I'm kidding.
I know.
So yeah. So also, I'm guessing that the author started losing track of what he wanted to research versus actually producing the manga.
Well, again, I think a large part of the problem is when you have the dream of doing such a long-running thing, you have to maintain the scope of it. For example, Full Metal Full Metal Alchemist, right? The first season started production when only 2 volumes of the manga had come out, right? And as a result, they had to make up the vast majority of the anime, right? And it feels at like halfway through the anime, all of a sudden, it kind of does a flip on a coin, like things, like it's been a time skip and things aren't making sense, and there's a war that they're fighting. And so, wait, but when the manga finally finished and they actually did produce the anime Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I think in Japan it's again just called Full Metal Alchemist, but it's like 2009.
We need a separator between the two in some way
in the West, but the year isn't enough apparently. But regardless, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was the complete narrative, and it was like we know where we want to take this, right? And I wouldn't be surprised when it comes to Dr. Stone that they didn't know where they wanted to take it. So in terms of the manga, there was no time to do the research, so they rushed it.
Yeah.
And as a result, they cut out all the cool shit.
Look at how long it takes for Veritasium to properly research and produce a video. And that's just on one topic, right?
Yep.
Dr. Stone is covering how many things, in one arc? There's no way that they can keep up that level of consistency.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here I am dreading yet another... Hi, Vsauce. Michael here. Triangles have 3 sides, but what if they had 4?
They were square.
Oh, I did just see a video about a... I need to watch it still. It's from Stand Up Maths, and it's about a polyhedron that can like write itself. It's or something weird like that. I need to watch it.
Oh, so just a point. They did maths on a triangle based on it's the radius, so it's touching the sides, circles that will fit within it.
Oh yes.
And they found that there's actually a 4th line that can be described by the same.
I'm well aware. Yep. Anyway.
Excellent.
Anyway.
So it's not square. Anyway,
right. So who wants to go where next? Because I do have one.
Actually, I want to go on to one of the more contentious ones, Mecha.
Okay.
So, I'd like you to talk to us about Patlabor.
Okay.
Or Patlabor.
Okay. So one of the biggest follies when it comes to any
Dragon
form
Ball
of
Z?
robots.
Oh.
No. Any form of robots is the belief that
bipedal robots work.
Yeah.
Could work.
So on a minor tangent, I remember watching Pacific Rim where people were complaining about the end of the movie because why were the pilots risking themselves when they could wirelessly control the robots, right? All I can say is fucking computer science. No, here's the problem, right?
Lag time.
Has anyone tried? Yes, thank you, Nasuth. Spot on, lag time, right? Input latency, right? Has anyone tried to use like Stadia or even Steam
Cloud gaming in
Steam
general.
Link? No,
even a wireless
Steam Link.
controller in your house has ever so slight input delay.
But going from a Steam Link over the network to your PC and back will have a minor input latency. Right. If you're going miles, that's going to be massive input latency, right?
If you're going
Not
hundreds
only
or
that-
thousands of miles, it's even worse.
No.
To the bottom of the Pacific.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you know what's really good insulator for Wi-Fi? Yeah,
Water.
Yeah.
All kinds of radiation, really.
Several tons of it vertically stacked on your head will interfere with that.
So a large part of the problem was people kept on coming up with like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. The robots wouldn't ever be able to fucking stand up. the amount of mass that is required to maintain a robot to be upright is more than the energy you can get out of the bloody engine, right? So the damn thing would fall. There was one line in Pacific Rim I absolutely loved, which was like, was it 50 engines per muscle strand, right?
Yes, 50 diesel engine power per muscle strand.
And I was just like, how fucking small are these engines?
Well, they were talking about it's like horsepower in a regular engine, right? So they're probably using nuclear reactors or something.
Well, I don't
similar,
remember saying
some other
engine power. I don't remember them saying engine power. I remember saying
50 diesel engines per 50 diesel engines per muscle strand. I'm guessing that is a measurement like horsepower. In a sense, not. Yeah.
But I kind of understood the specifics of 50 actual engines, but that's besides the point. I mean, like, why does oh god, why does it have to be a diesel engine? But that's it's neither here nor there.
I'm not sure. The
crux of the argument is that real robots, giant robots, super robots, or super mecha, like these things cannot physically function, even on a biological level. If you've got things like Evangelion, the sheer volume of mass needed to maintain such a massive creature upright, it wouldn't have dense enough bones to keep it moving and things. There's a lot of problems when you're talking about these absolute crazy scales. And you just either have to suspend your disbelief because physics ain't gonna cop out, or you just don't watch it. One of the really interesting things for Gundam is Minovsky particles are used to actually change physics. It's the same with Gundam 00 with GN particles and things. It's basically used to change the physics around the mobile suit, allowing it to move properly, not only in space, but in environment. So, like, the only way they could get it to work was to, let's just fuck physics.
Yeah. To put it into another medium, it's like the Mass Effect series, where all of their technology is based around a technology that can affect the mass of an object, and therefore they can accelerate it or decelerate it beyond the limits of physics, because it's actually affecting the mass of the object.
Yeah.
In the same way. So, yeah. I see what you're saying in that respect.
I will forever love Patlabor because the sheer volume of detail they go to in designing the labors, right? The whole purpose of the labors. But, like, let's face it, that's not going to happen.
I think a much more realistic design, which is one that we've already kind of seen them working on in Japan, is you remember the weird tanks in Gundam that have a tank lower body and a more humanoid torso and head and stuff.
I think they're literally called mobile tanks, but yeah.
Probably, yeah. I think that's a much more realistic design if you want something that has human hand articulation. That sort of, but it's kind of silly because we could design robots that are so much better than human articulation.
Yeah. The reason we design them with things like human articulation is so that the pilots can actually get their
gun tanks.
Yes.
brains around it.
Yeah, that's true. So if we're going to use them for military purposes, maybe, yeah. Or I suppose even construction purposes. Yeah.
Well, even with construction purposes, like, you would still have to require a lot of assistance, because, like, you could build this something on a caterpillar tracks with arms that you could lift the thing up with.
Yeah.
But
or you could use
more cost effective. Yeah, it's more cost effective to use a bloody crane.
Yeah.
Or a forklift.
Or a forklift. There you go. That's another point of view.
Yeah. There are a difference between practicality and that suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
That this would work, but you can see why people would want it to work.
Yeah,
is the other thing. Yeah, so that aids with that suspension of disbelief. But once you've done that, the realism for Patlabor is actually surprising, because they don't pretend that these are mecha that will fly around the place on jets. They don't pretend that they will be able to sprint. You know, they scale up. They for example, they scale up a gun for one to use, and they actually go into why they have to the decisions they have to make in doing that. They go into the ammunition. They go into how expensive that is to make a gun that one of these large machines can hold, and
how difficult it is to reload.
Yes. So
the pilot has to get out.
Yeah.
Yes, the pilot has to get out to.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it makes sense.
So in terms of, if you can get over the idea that these things do not collapse under their own weight, then the rest of it is surprisingly full of realism in that in the way that these are applied. I would categorize that more as world building than to aid the suspension of disbelief. But at the same time, I can't help but think that if it was just a matter of finding something that was strong enough to hold together, some alloy that could, in fact, like gundanium or adamantium or something like that could withstand the stresses of this shift in mass.
I think the problem is
the rest of it seems very realistic.
I think the problem is that how much extracurricular world building do you have to do in order to make any of this both believable and entertaining? Like, I think
not just believable, but like, I guess we are just talking about believable rather than actual realism again, aren't we? That's fine. Sorry.
Because like one of the more interesting shows for this, and again, I think escalation really helped the situation, or the way that the show was structured really helped the situation of the weird escalation it got, is actually GunBuster. If I can actually find it, there it is. So the really interesting thing about GunBuster is the use of the law of relativity. I don't really want to try and butcher the law of relativity, so if one of you two want to have a crack at it.
Well,
to Google.
Well, there's no law of relativity per se. Relativity is a group of theory. It's a theory that comprises a group of laws and mathematical equations. It's the theory of relativity, and there's also like two types. Special relativity and general and specific. Yeah.
Yes. So general relativity basically explains gravity as the curvature of space-time caused by mass and energy. The more mass an object has, the more energy it potentially has, the more it warps space-time around.
It explains why mass attracts mass rather than just like Newton didn't know why they attracted. He only knew that they did. And that the why is the curve is because they curve space-time and so they pull together.
Yeah. But again, it's the use of I'm pretty sure it is a law, but the use of relativity is in this show to show the passage of time and everything. It's really cool. They actually take
because dilating space and time are bound together. So bending space also fucks with time, essentially.
Yes, they're the same.
And also speeds also do the same thing.
Speed was the
big one. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Time passes slower for faster moving objects in theory.
Yes.
Because
the whole point is that they
but it passes the same for the object that is moving, which is weird because that's why it's relative. Sorry, continue.
The whole point is that like at one point in time they're constructing a ship. It's still got I think 3 or 6 months left to go, and they encounter an object entering their solar system or our solar system, and they go to explore it. But if they go to explore it, the speeds that they have to travel at to get aboard the ship is I don't want to say light speed, but it's really getting up there.
Yes, a fractional speed of light, a fraction of the speed of light.
Everything is a fraction of the speed of light,
and a high fraction of it, so that you actually
like 9/10 speed of light instead of 1/10 speed of light.
Anyway, the whole point is that they have to catch up with it. And as a result, time passes differently for them because they're moving so much faster. And by the time they come back, the ship's already finished.
And all of this is incredibly realistic. Yeah. All of it.
Yeah, they show you the math, how to work it out and everything, and it's absolutely crazy. So...
But then you also have the GunBuster itself doing insane things.
Yep. Do you want to continue?
No, sorry.
No. I'm genuinely. I'm offering you if you want to finish your point on GunBuster.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean. Well, it's crazy how you've got all this realistic science as you've described it. And they go into so much detail. That's not the only time they do it, but they go into so much detail about this stuff. And then in the final climactic battle, they destroy half the galaxy or something like that? And it's just like, it's completely mind-blowing and makes no sense.
Yeah, they just blow it up with a bomb.
Because that's how it works.
Yep.
So I think GunBuster's a cool one because of that mix of insanely realistic and insanely over-the-top unrealistic.
Mm-hmm. But it stays consistent throughout the whole thing as well, which is also incredible.
Oh, that was a good one. You picked a really good one there. I still need to watch GunBuster.
So the thing that has to be said though is that this is the point I was thinking of when you said about this. What has to be put into the show to make it realistic versus just good world building. And I thought contrast, because Patlabor, its competitors in the mecha thing are things like Gundam. And Gundam, we know, would not behave like that. We know things. It's a thing you have to disperse particles that alter physics because it doesn't work. And it's all about the flashy space battles and the interspace politics and everything like that. So compared to that, Patlabor feels a lot more realistic because it's a more grounded story on Earth without the flashy space battles going on there. And I think that one of the things that has to be taken into account for realism, or at least feeling realistic to the audience, is the other things that have come before. So a good one I would like to pivot to, I think, would be Cowboy Bebop.
Before you do, can I just add one thing to the Gundam bit that you were talking about?
Yeah, sure.
I think their focus is their realism focus is more on the politics side of things, as opposed to the science side of things. And I think that is still an important thing for them to focus on in a realistic point. But you're right that as far as the science goes, it's kind of out there.
Yes. So I was watching a little bit from the Overly Sarcastic Productions, their trope talk on the space western. And they were talking about why space translates so well to this concept of the western. And it's more about the western characters. The way that there's always defined roles in a western. And there's only like about 9 stories of a western that you can tell because of the limited historical period and availability of things that could be done out there. It's a very limited area, and so they had to tell the same stories in different ways repeatedly. There's always
somebody's
like
attacking
the
the
stranger in a
homestead.
new town.
Somebody's coming to a new town. Somebody's stealing horses. That sort of thing.
Yep. The lone sheriff, that kind of thing, right? And when they brought up Cowboy Bebop in this sense that space here is being treated like a frontier. They're expanding out to Mars, to the space stations, to all these other places. And so it has given rise to many places where justice is just the person who can have the biggest gun. And so it brings in these bounty hunters the same way it did in the Old West. You get bounty hunters, you get cowboys. Because they can't, there is no one justice system out there. There's often just one good guy, as it were, defending the homestead. And, you know, from the forces that are coming by that want to steal the land to build a train across it, you know, something like that. And so each area they go to, each new place, each new little colony area or city that they visit is almost like a frontier town in that respect. So they can tell any story they like, and it fits into that kind of area. And so in that way, I think Cowboy Bebop is a very realistic depiction of how things would go in that space rush. They've got the technology now to go out into the other planets and settle properly and make space stations. And it's just as lawless, it's just as chaotic, and it's just as human as the rest of the frontiers in our world have been.
I disagree entirely.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not think that the final frontier would be as lawless as you say it would, right?
You say that, but you bring up Star Trek. That's the original series. Sorry, continue.
Dude, shut up.
Whoa.
Right. My case in point here is Planet S, right? To me, Planet S is so much more of a believable space narrative where, okay, they are talking primarily about a moon colony and just, you know, interstellar orbit, right? You know, interstellar, interstellar is not the right word.
Near Earth orbit?
Near Earth
basically.
orbit.
I don't think they have colonies or anything like that, but they are using high orbit in order to actually travel around Earth a lot better and things. But you know, they have the whole like garbage just floating around Earth's atmosphere and everything. And I think it is an absolutely fantastic depiction because of all the rules and regulations behind it. You know, when you're going out into space, you're going to be there for an excruciatingly long time. So take a bloody diaper, right? You're not going to be there for like a 5-minute jaunt. And then you've gotten things like Cowboy Bebop. The only way to facilitate most of the stuff with Cowboy Bebop is the whatever those gates are. I can't remember what the name of the gates are.
Then now the basically warp gates.
Yeah.
Now, I find this interesting because I believe that this will actually it will be this chaotic, because in the same way that everything in our history has always been, whenever something new happens, everybody bundles into it. There are no laws yet, and things have to change after and get better after.
Right.
You know, even little things like technology, the fact that, you know, AI has come up. There's not enough laws about AI because people didn't think it could do what it could do, and put in actual restrictions on it, or, you know, common sense laws.
But here's a brilliant example. The AI we have now is not actual AI.
Correct. No, I get you on that one. I'm not arguing that at all, but you can understand that there's not enough regulation around it. So, Naz, well, you're going to jump in.
As someone who actually knows American history, these are both bad examples of the Old West. The Planet S...
Whoa! When did I say mine was I didn't say mine was an Old West. I think this is what will happen.
You didn't.
But That was what Thaylien was talking about. Okay.
My point was that it's a realistic base because of the Old West.
And I'm saying it would never be this lawless.
Okay.
I'd say
that's also wrong. Yeah. So Planet S would be more akin to when the colonies were just starting to expand into the areas around them. They were still very close to home. They still had a lot of the rule of law because it was easy for the U.S. government to maintain that control. But after the Louisiana Purchase, even when they really started pushing west, suddenly these lines of communication were much harder, and it wasn't until they finished the Cross-Continental Railroad, which would be the warp gates in Cowboy Bebop, that the American government was then able to reassert its control. So there was a very lawless period there for a while that would fit into the local sheriff, the small town, small isolated town. There were no real U.S. Marshals to worry about, per se. I mean, there might have been a few, but not very many. So I think both of these are bad examples of the lawlessness of the American Old West. Or America in general.
Because on that you said, the warp gates only go to the planet. They don't go to all the areas on that planet. If you consider that the cities that are at the end of at the landing point after the warp gate would be the railhead, as it were, and everywhere else is the lawless areas around it that are going to be expanded into.
Maybe,
that's what Cowboy Bebop is.
I think a brilliant way of looking at how it would probably actually be more akin to in a sci-fi setting is actually Moonrise, where everything has always been under the control of humanity, of Earth, right? That the moon colonies, multiple colonies, were set up with complete dominance by Earth. Communication was always there and everything. Travel was always expedited by the bridge. I feel that Earth would never allow the expansion of spacefaring stuff without it maintaining full control.
Possibly, yeah.
You would think that, but I don't believe that would happen. I think that I believe in the fact that people would bootstrap fucking rockets thing and sneak through the gates in any possible way they could, smuggle through parts so that they can go off from the gate to somewhere else, from the end of the gate to somewhere else.
Just build a wall around it. That's what I did that.
Yeah,
I know what you did. I'm disgusted with you.
I think a better one. I think a better Western one would actually be like The Expanse. I don't know if there's a good analog for that in anime or not. The Expanse is really good. The way it handles the relationship between Earth and its colonies.
I'd say like the first couple of seasons, but there might be a parallel in terms of anime. I don't readily know what it is off the top of my head.
I was also going to say, way back ago when you brought up the Final Frontier, did you know that the original, I'm sure everyone knows this, the original intent of Star Trek was to be a wagon train to the stars. So it was supposed to be like a very Old West style, and that's why in the original series they don't really follow the Prime Directive very much. Because it was a very lawless time, and Kirk was kind of on his own.
To be fair, I don't remember the original series at all, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
That's fair.
I always felt that TNG is where it really started.
Oh yeah. So, maybe the movies, but
because the theory was that you would have the limited resource of anything you could put in your hold, as it were, the power supply you had, the things you had. And you had to make do with that and all the tribulations, going out there and getting caught in, a flash flood near the river or something that could wash away your supplies. Strange alien diseases, all of that was supposed to be that original theme of what Star Trek was supposed to be.
They even tended to have like a communication lag, which would be akin to the Pony Express.
Yeah.
Well, they do for the outer edges, like the neutral zone. It takes them hours to receive correspondence and things.
Yeah. Even in the new series, they have that to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah, But that's the whole reason that the Prime Directive exists, is because it shifted to... It needed that to kind of manage what it became. In that they went for the post-scarcity economy, that it's world peace, so they're explorers now, not trying to find a new area to possibly settle. You know? And so the Prime Directive was to try and not interfere and be a rule they could break a little bit.
I also feel that you know, on topic, how much do people want to be grounded in realism, right? How much do people want the excess of fantasy and whimsy? Because let's face it, shows like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you know, the greater anime community eats up JoJo, right? They eat up solo leveling. They eat up the power fantasies really heavily. But, you know, I think that the greater audience wants the escapism in all of this. They don't want to be reminded of how bad and bleak the world is. They want to just be completely free of it all.
Does that even extend to slice of life? Would you say?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because as a genre, slice of life is also pretty big, and you could say it's pretty grounded, but at the same time, don't they also have very escapist scenario? Like, life can't always be so perfect.
I would only agree with that if you couple slice of life with drama.
Never.
Because slice of life coupled with anything else can be escapism. It's just, you know, telling this. If it's slice of life romance, then it's just telling the story of some heartfelt situation that other people want to be in. Maybe not precisely that one, but I'd like something like that to happen to me. I'd like a meet cute. I'd like a encounter. I'd like to be worried about what they think of me. You know, romance. It's more that. Romance could be whole fantasy things, and that's, you know, an entirely different section. But slice of life can definitely be escapism.
I argue against what you're saying only because, not to be argumentative, which is, you know, part of my course at least.
Your usual.
But I feel that with slice of life, the whole thing is to be just part of everyday life where shit isn't going sideways. Like, I think a brilliant example of that is what's the Masterful Cat something angry, upset thing.
That's slice of life fantasy.
Depressed again today.
Masterful Cat's depressed again today.
Yeah, like, but at the same time, it doesn't really lean heavily into the fanciful elements. It is just this, you know, you could just replace him with a big guy in a cat suit, right? It's the same thing, because it doesn't really explore the Masterful Cat in the slightest. It is just, here's an easygoing life. And I think that is at the essence of it all, what slice of life is really about. Why is My Hero Academia in slice of life? That can't be right.
Quite right.
Because it's in a school, that's why.
But then I'd argue that you've got the Masterful Cat, and it's actually just got that fantasy element to it. It is something unusual happening to an ordinary person that's making their life better. So it's escapism.
No, but at the same, it's still escapism. But I think if you were to mix in things like romance, you are losing the slice of life, right? Because all romance has slice of life in it, right? There is. No. I can name me one romance that does not have slice of life in it.
There's a whole load of fantasy romances that don't have slice of life in them. Action romances, where we've literally got rescuing the princess, as it were, as a whole form of the romance. There's whole isekais with romance in them that don't have slice of life in them. I'm
intrigued by all of these notions.
I'm fairly sure you've seen
go on
a couple of them. Right.
Give
Do
me
we actually want to go down this rabbit hole?
No.
I'm fine if we do. I'm fine if we do. But okay, yeah.
But the big thing is, though, that I think with slice of life, yes, it's still escapism and things like that, but it is supposed to be chill escapism. It's supposed to be like, oh, this is just my everyday life plus a little bit extra.
Yes.
Right?
That's what I was arguing. Basic slice of life would just be completely boring. Slice of life always should be mixed with something to give it a little bit of flavor.
I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't particularly call Apocalypse Hotel slice of life either, but I mean, you know.
I could see, but you can see why other people would. You can see why other people would. It is a post-apocalyptic fantasy show, but it isn't really an action show. It isn't really a drama show. It isn't really,
It's a slice of life as a hotel worker.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I do have one more real. I do have
police in a pod, slice of work.
Go on, Nasuth.
I do actually have one very realistic show. Since we haven't, I don't know if we've talked about one that's extremely just pure realism yet. And that is Orb on the Movement of the Stars. Or sorry, Movement of the Earth. Which is literal history in anime form. And it's also one that I think I can't waste an opportunity to talk about it because it's so good. But everything in it is extremely realistic. You see people handing this knowledge from person to person. You see the way the church tries to suppress it. You see the rise of the printing press and the spread of knowledge and the loosening grip of the church. And all of this is actual stuff. And but the anime doesn't dramatify it beyond realism, right? You see some historical dramas like oh gods, what was the one with it was another historical drama in Japan in the Bakuhatsu period, and the main character had cleats on his shoes so that he could launch himself really fast. Tokyo Revengers? No, just Revengers.
No, just Revengers.
Just Revengers, yeah. That one takes a real period and makes it completely unbelievable. But this is actual history just played out in an entertaining anime form. And
the drama and sort of action that comes out of it is based on what actually did happen at the time. So being locked in prison, things that kind of punishment is completely accurate to the time as well, and to the historical story that they're trying to tell. And
the awe of what they're discovering also comes through. That is something that people would actually write about, when they're discovering this.
Yes. I mean, even things like Darwin, if there was ever a proper story told about him in the same way, one of his key ones was he didn't want his theories to undermine his Christian faith. He wanted this to explain things in a way that would make sense, but still be governed by what he believed as a religious man. And yet, over time, it's become this almost competitive either-or situation, which he never would have wanted.
But I don't think he took... I think that was a period where people didn't necessarily take Genesis literally, and unfortunately there's a rising group of people that do, and those two are incompatible. But if you just take it as a metaphor, which I have no problem with, I think it perfectly describes the rise of agriculturalism and the loss of innocence because we have bigger brains that can process reality. It works perfectly. No problems there.
I love the something that I remember my mother saying back when I was about 6, and it was something on Blue Peter that was coming up at the time, and she just said, "There's nothing to say that the Big Bang wasn't caused by the Christian God saying, 'Begin.'" You know, just there's nothing saying it wasn't. And until we find out, then it could be completely true. And Zeno, what were you going to say?
To completely pivot off of this, I do question though why should historical pieces be considered like slice of life?
That's a good question.
Because don't get me wrong, I think that Orb is massively rooted in realism, much like I feel Apothecary Diaries is massively rooted in realism.
Although dramatized and with comedy added.
Yeah, but everything's bloody got drama and comedy in it. That's besides the point.
I mean, added on top of what there would have been.
Okay. Anyway, but the whole, like, one of the most appealing sides of the Apothecary Diaries is, first off, you are rooting for Mau Mau. Wow, I got that wrong. You're rooting for Mau Mau. So, because one of the biggest controversies that Loz has with season 1 is the fact that Mau Mau ends up saving Jinshi, and she's not thanked for it in the slightest. She's never apologized to for being beaten and things like this. But if you think about it,
given the time period.
Exactly. Given the time period, women were treated as
not just women, but peasants.
Citizens. Yeah, sure. Let's expand it even further. But it is very interesting to see this, and I think that the Apothecary Diaries, because it is so heavily grounded, or at least I can't say that it's not grounded in reality, because it is so heavily grounded to me in reality. It's so much more believable, so much more enjoyable, and it's like, one that I really want to, champion the bit for.
Maybe slice of history?
I don't want to make up new genres, dude. We have too many.
Next week, we'll be discussing slice of history.
Right,
as a genre.
So just to highlight, right, how many pages of genres do we have?
Oh god, so many.
Right, I'm trying to find them all now. Oh god, where is all the genres? Can't actually find them all.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, we have 8 pages of genres, right? All containing 21 genres each. And that was only the top 10%.
68, I think? 168?
That's only... Yeah, but that's only the top 10% of genres that are across all of the anime shows we have in the system. There are some genres that are just not worth talking about. Like 16th century as a genre. Why? Why? Why does this need to exist as a genre?
Well, we gotta distinguish 16th century history from 17th century history, Xeno. Come on.
Anyway.
Come on.
Anyway. Right.
Any other ones to talk about before we wrap up?
That's I don't know.
I do feel that there is a lot to be desired when it comes to realism, at least from my taste, and I don't know if that's just because I've watched too many shows. But at the same time, I am able to watch things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like 86, like Ugly Mug Epic Fighter, and still get and Dandadan, and getting engrossed in those shows and feel that they are absolutely amazing, right? But that is because they escalate out of reality, out of realism, and into just crazy, zany, wacky shenanigans.
But they do it in a way that feels natural and makes sense. Well,
the progression is decently placed. Like, one of the biggest problems with Death Note is just the sheer fact of, like, why is this internal monologue happening? No, why is this dialogue happening during the course of a tennis match, right? Or internal monologues? Why are they both having internal monologues over a bloody tennis match? How on earth did Light manage to fit that TV in a packet of crisps, right? Like, how so many things, just so many things. And I think it's just simply because of one line from was it Sherlock Holmes, which is like, when you eliminate the
improbable. Impossible.
No, when you eliminate all the possible options,
whatever's left, no matter how improbable it is,
must be the truth.
Yeah, and it's just like, at what point in time did L turn around and was like, oh, clearly a deity of death has turned up and is assisting Light to kill everyone? Clearly.
I think if you want to have a realistic tone, it's important not to cross those lines. But it's fine to start realistic and then expand if that's the plan. If you can do it in a way that makes sense.
Do it slowly, not stupid.
Yeah, and
no shit.
I also want to point that realism in itself can be used as a tool to accentuate shows that would otherwise be too purely fantasy. So in terms of, when you can be realistic about, say, the combat, or realistic about the problems that would be had, or the reactions to things that would be had, realistic politics in a situation that is purely fictional, can give you more depth of story. But sadly, when you're trying to be a really good dramatic fantasy story or action story, you do want to leave realism behind at some point, just to accelerate it up through those stakes.
Not sure.
But again, the Kanpai Cast motto, it's fine if it's done right, because I'd much rather have realistic labors than a repeat of Evangelion in my Gundam show,
or even Megaton Musashi. Ugh, that one was oof.
Right.
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Should we move on to the supporter questions?
Sure.
Good talk, guys. Let's get on to the rest of it.
That was fun.
Zrugal asks, if you could make an anime from a favorite game, what game would you pick, and what would the anime be like? It would be Abiotic Factor and so much infighting. It would be better Dr. Stone by far.
Nice. Do you know, I've actually seen my favorite games probably wouldn't make a very good anime, but I'll go back to one of the ones that I really want to see the story of. And that's Sudeki from the original Xbox generation. I'd like to make them to make an anime of that so that they can actually give it a real ending. It was the first game that had a hack and slash fighter combined with a first person shooter. So little special place in my heart.
I'm not sure I was going to say Myst because that's my favorite game, but I'm not sure you could turn Myst into an anime very well, even if you included Riven and Myst 3. Maybe Uru.
I haven't the foggiest how that would work.
You could maybe do Uru, because Uru was a massively multiplayer game. But I think I would pick their other solo game, which was Abduction. If you don't know what Abduction is, I don't have time to explain it here. And in terms of genre, I would pick Realism. even though it's completely fantastical.
Okay, and if Azrael also asks if you could make a game. Oh my god, sorry. Azrael asks if you could make a game from your favorite anime, what would you pick, and what would the game be like?
Okay, so it's this hack and slash adventure, okay, and all the characters have white hair, and
Is it a Metroidvania?
No, they are robots.
He's trying to describe Nier Automata.
Wondering how long it take for you to interrupt.
No, I mean, it was fucking obvious from white hair.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I would probably do High School Double D. And it's in that special section of Steam that, you know, Visa and MasterCard want to have shut down.
God, I don't even know what my favorite anime is.
You're not quite right, Xeno.
I'm very right.
No. So I might actually back out the robots thing and say I'd like an anime of Nier Replicant.
There were still robots in Nier Replicant. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but they weren't the main characters.
Yeah, they were.
No, what am I thinking of?
Moving on.
The other one. The earlier
father
game.
and son, or whatever it was.
Yeah, no. Nier Replicant and Gestalt, they were the same games. They were different. Gestalt was for the Xbox, Replicant was for the PlayStation, but they were basically the same game. It's just the main character was made to be more masculine and for the Xbox player base. But there were still artificial life forms that was created to save humanity because of the whole destruction at the end of...
Yeah, they were artificial, but they weren't robots.
Yeah, they were.
I would pick...
That's where Devil and Poplar come from.
I would pick Ghost in the Shell, and it would be a point-and-click adventure. Mystery, though. Point-and-click mystery adventure. Okay. What was the name of that?
Day of the Tentacle?
No, it was an actual police-driven one that had started with like an S.
Time Max?
No, it was very cyberpunky. I want to say it was made by Kojima way back in the day. No, anyways.
Okay, not Disco Elysium.
Oh, no.
Not Scanners, but something like that.
Syndicate?
I don't know.
Syndicate Wars?
No, not that.
That was Bullfrog. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. 90s point and click. Kojima making any fucking games?
Yeah. No, that's not it. Snatcher! Yes!
What was this?
Snatcher. You don't know about Snatcher. Oh.
No. Hold on, scroll up. Scroll the fuck back up. 1988.
Yes.
Yeah, no wonder I haven't fucking heard of it.
I thought it was 90s. It was late 80s. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway.
But you only got to it in the 90s.
Nasuth number 8 asks, I don't have any questions. Goodbye, leaves the room.
Then I turn off my camera.
Bye-bye.
Earl Kundenhove von Ronsenbergium, whatever, asks, approximately 2 months ago, and I definitely didn't find out about this the day before the recording, the trailer for Season 3 of Mokushoka Tensei was released. It finally, its final shot lingers on the time skip version of Eris, the redhead maniac who is the source of Rudy's major mental trauma. Which would you prefer the season to be about? Rudy improving his color-coded harem, or about Rudy fleeing in terror from Eris, screaming and dribbling as his family tries to understand what's going on? I think Zenith's going to be the one that's going to be struggling to understand what's going on. Thanks for the major spoilers. I really appreciate that. I was trying to avoid that.
Now, when you say dribbling, what exactly do you mean?
Basketballs.
Basketball?
Not like basketball or football.
Basketball,
No.
right?
No, it's definitely, spittle flying from his mouth because he can't close it properly.
Okay,
Whatever
good.
Thalien's fake name is, do you think that the show, Notice Me Senpai, which viewers can find on youtube.com / it's just slash, there's no forward, it's just slash, Xenogelion
There is
would be
backslash.
improved
All right, I'm putting
by...
backslash
Oh, for fuck's sake. Would be improved by recording some outtake style reactions for stock footage that can be inserted into Xeno's quiet moments. For example, a 1.5 second clip of the wild tiger avatar being smashed in the head by Xeno with a rock. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Well, so
What
like
is this
when
gibberish?
those moments when you want to react and you can quite clearly hear the rage boiling from something I've said, you can just pop in like 1.5 seconds, boom, like an anime outtake.
I don't even know how we do that, to be fair.
All the silence. I haven't even got a clue what he's talking about.
No, there are some times when you're like, oh, Thaylien, why? Sort of thing.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Notice Me Senpai is a high-class show. Yeah.
Yes. I'm promoting high-class options.
Right, moving on to the comments from last week. First of all, from the news, Strongest Shell says, news! Dislikes are still disabled. Not that I've tried, or did I?
Okay, I have no idea what he's talking about. Disables have always worked. It just doesn't show you what they are. However,
Dislikes.
Dislikes, sorry. However, I did have, apparently, the number of likes turned off, so you couldn't see the number of likes. I've fixed that, but disables have always worked. They just don't show you what the... Yeah, that's an option, yeah.
Dislikes. Yeah, you can click it. It interacts with the video.
Thanks for newsing me up. Zrul says, news! Wait, what was the thing that they released that actually made them hide the dislikes button? Was it the YouTube Rewind?
It was YouTube Rewind.
Yes.
Yeah.
It hit... It was the first YouTube video to hit something like millions
99.
of dislikes.
Yeah.
Zrul says, news! Nasuth and I said yes at the same time. No bathroom break for Xeno. Oh.
We definitely never paused for those, ever.
What in the world was up with that Gundam shaped like a bell? Don't ask.
It had a ringing endorsement.
There's supposed to be a system on the Kanpai Cast. Next, I'm looking forward to it. I just call it the system because I can't be bothered with a name. I'm a developer. We don't name things. That's effort. Neat. Thanks for the news, guys. And moving on to the cast, as Rugal says, Kanpai. I'm also really bad with names. Nathan. Joking. Impromptu news at the end of the episode. This was when we talked about how the Online Safety Act is affecting Steam. Oh, yeah, that's true. Not too much commentary from me this week, but the memes were great. Thanks for the show, guys. Stromberg Shell says, at some point, Thaylien says that he suffers through the bad shows for us. We know you do, and we appreciate that we appreciate you for that. No, he doesn't. He actually likes that shit.
I think Xeno's suffering through. Are you still keeping up with Gajekta, or do you want to save that for when we?
No. We swapped with Clevitas.
Oh, are you still keeping up with Clevitas, or are you want to save that for?
It.
Okay. But you're planning to keep up with it.
Interesting topic, guys. I require another tier list. I don't care what of top 10 depictions of other countries in anime. Okay, that's dumb. Not that. Movie versus show of the same franchise. Maybe not that either. I got it. Top 10 anime with unnecessary fan service. Okay, I'm kidding that with that last one. Unless you like the idea, then I'm 100% serious.
Oh, no.
Just kidding. Unless.
Anywho.
It's okay. Thaylien knows all the good ones, so you can just recommend them to us. Anyway. Meme time? Meme time.
Meme time.
Most of ours come from Reddit, although I think Xeno's got most of his from Instagram this week. Thaylien, is that also Thaylien? Is that sixth meme actually spicy, or is it just a holdover from last week?
It's a holdover from last week.
Okay,
I do have a spicy meme. I do have a spicy meme.
We usually arrange this ahead of time, but not this week.
Well, I did put it in the list. Yes, number 4, but you didn't, for whatever reason, update it. So
yeah. We also take up to 6 viewer memes a week. This week we have 5. You can submit your own viewer memes by coming to the Discord and dropping them in the viewer submission channel, where we don't even see them until we look at them here on the show. So let's get into those. I came in like a Pokeball. All I wanted was to catch them all. Oh, that's actually kind of clever.
Such an old song now. Feel old yet? Me.
Oh my god.
Ugly face, no money, no riz, shy. A hot girlfriend, please.
Yep. Japanese child actress Mana Ashida, Little Mako, was embarrassed that she couldn't pronounce Guillermo del Toro's name, so he gave her special permission to call him Totoro-san instead. My namer, Guillermo del Toro. If I don't reblog this, assume I'm dead.
If I don't reblog this, assume I'm dead.
Wow.
That's so cute.
That is kind of cute. Xeno?
British people waking up and realizing they have to do the accent all day.
It's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I could imagine it being a bit hard to do the Scottish one all day. That'd be a bit strange.
Stop.
Welsh. You have to do Welsh.
From the valleys.
And the last viewer meme is a video. Oh my god, it's Beerus!
Oh, fantastic.
That's adorable.
Little baby
He's got the forehead right.
Aww. So cute.
Cute.
Some people don't like hairless cats, but I actually think they're really adorable. Alright. What is your skill? I have the extraordinary ability to be alone.
Nice.
True.
That's a good ability.
My next 2 are videos. Engineering student. Oh no, I made a mistake on the exercise. Medicine student. Buries their corpse.
Oh my god. I didn't even get that to begin with.
Rent-A-Girlfriend fans. Might just have Darling fans.
Well, since you have such a hard time understanding things, maybe you'll understand that right there.
Yeah.
Poor Rent-A-Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Poor Rent-A-Girlfriend.
When I hear the recording of my own voice, this one hits home because I have to deal with it all the time. That voice! Gross! Man, really gross.
I don't know. I've gotten over that point.
Yeah, I kind of have to at this point. Everyone's talking about Chainsaw Man, but no one's talking about the original Chainsaw Man. He stole my Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, but that series was awful, dude.
No, it wasn't! You shut your mouth!
So bad.
You shut your mouth!
So
Bad to the bone music plays.
Okay, it was more Army of Darkness than Evil Dead. I will 100% grant you that, but it was still fun.
It was just shit.
And the
I
last
love
one,
Army of Darkness, it's shit.
the last one is a video meme as well. Your Oscar's throat and Evangelion.
Oh,
Oh
this is
my
a
God.
callback. Oh no.
Oh no, it's repeating. Sorry, let's move on to Thaliens.
Teenagers aged 15 to 16 before and now.
Not wrong.
So, now that you know the story, may I have your permission to welcome Nia as my latest girl? Oh, never mind.
Okay.
get
Next one's a video.
This one's just cute.
Aw.
Eevee zoomies.
It's like if you had a Beerus, but an Eevee.
You guys always act like you're better than me. This every other anime pervert.
Yep.
At least they're plot relevant.
Yep.
The perfect wedding doesn't exist.
Oh, that's amazing.
Welcome to our wedding party. Oh, you're marrying me.
Oh,
I love that. That's amazing.
That's very cute. And the last one is also a video meme.
And if you're gonna call me cute, then you bet. You Stop.
And now on to Xeno. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Yep.
Oh, the poor girl.
Next two are videos.
I'm so hungry. I could eat a...
Eat a what?
Whoa. Hold your...
Hold your?
Now, don't get angry now. Let's not beat it down.
Deserved.
Oh, I like that it's Kaiba too. That actually adds something to it somehow.
Yes.
Fern, my darling girl! I always knew you'd grow up big and strong, and I said I'd hunt you if you were good.
Fern, don't listen to him. He's not real. He's playing tricks on you.
No, I'm not. Fern was good. Now I'm hunting her. Woo!
Miss Freerin, his rebuttals are too sharp and lame not to be him. Oh, for the love of...
Hey. Milady.
Sup?
You're not father, dad, are you? And now I think I'm emotionally scarred.
Nah, you'll get over it.
I love that the abridged calls him Father Dad.
Yes.
Next one is not safe for work.
Yes, this is the spicy one, apparently.
I don't remember what it is. Oh yeah, now I remember what it is. It's
Oh
a
my
cartoon,
god!
live-action anime.
It's always
Not
a
wrong. Not wrong.
And the
Here we
last
go.
two are also videos.
All right. Now time to kill the dungeon boss.
Hey, you!
Oh, great. Hey. Hello. Who is that?
Wait a minute. Are you
Finally, someone who's not his sister.
Why, yes, I am.
Oh my god. You smell so fucking good.
Odd name, but she's not related. I accept.
Smell route selected.
Oh, thank you, Chinu. Let me show you how much I appreciate you accepting my route.
Hey, what are you doing making those weird noises over there?
Just fantasizing. I mean daydreaming. Give me a sec. System, any, new routes I should know about?
No.
What do you mean, no? There's a super hot, of age, hopefully not related, girl right in front of me.
Hey, who are you talking to?
I'm schizophrenic.
Oh my god!
I'm Chahe-En. I'm an S-rank hunter and the Vice Guild Master of...
Yeah, that's great. System, search Chahe-En route.
This route is not.
This one is
yet
so
available.
long, Xeno!
Why?
You still
Hold on.
have 3 routes that are pending completion.
Prisoner route, stepmom route, and stepsister route? I thought I completed stepsister route. What else do I have to do? Marry her?
Marriage would be a viable completion.
No, I'm not marrying my sister. Start a new route now.
A new route can also be started by acquiring the interest of the desired heroine.
Oh, so I just have to get
It means different heroine.
Well, they don't
It
call
means
me
different
Sunrise
heroine,
Moon
doesn't
for
it?
Nothing. System, activate voice appeal.
Voice appeal activated.
Hey there, Shaw. You, come here often?
Are you really trying to flirt with me, as in E-rank? How about you get your rank up before you even try to talk to me? Peasant.
Your aura has suffered critical.
By the way, you smell like shit.
Mission failed.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Was that the 6th one?
Nope, that was 5.
Okay, all right. We've got one more. Christ, that was long.
It was.
Peter, how are you doing that?
I don't know, Lois. I'm scared.
Calm down.
I can't. I get help. Call somebody.
Who do I call?
I don't know. A police, a fire, a scientist. Call a scientist. Am I gonna die?
Oh, you silly
That
boy.
was my last one. Yep. Had to be done. Right. That's it. That's it for this week's episode. We've done all that we've come here to do, which was talk. We like talking. Talking is good. I've still got some drink left. Right. Okay.
My God.
Oh no.
So, thank you all for watching and all listening. And now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.